Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Robo Celestial here with a new video for you. Welcome to the part 6 of What If Deku Got One for All Early Season 2. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. Bakugo and Shinso look at each other determined. This would be the exam to test how their fates will play out after all. From the looks of your faces, I would say you are coming with me then. We evaluated you both throughout your time in the remedial course and designed an exam that we think will test your skills. Shinso, you applied for the hero course but failed since you didn't have enough combat experience. But in your remedial courses, we focused on combat, even going as far as getting Bakugo and others to train with you. After hearing those words, Shinso thinks back to his training. Aizawa taught him how to use the binding cloth and how to use ninja stars to be able to use long-ranged attacks. He also asked Hatsune to make the special mask in training with Bakugo and some teachers. Aizawa gazed at Bakugo. Bakugo, you were expelled from the hero course because of your attitude. Your fighting skills and cunning thinking are impressive, but your attitude seemed unfitting of a hero. But you have improved. The remedial course for you was a little bit of training and mostly catching up on studies since I saw your attitude had changed at the courthouse. They arrive in a room with a screen in the middle and a seat where a recovery girl is sitting. Aizawa pulled up a proctor which went over how this test will go down. That said, this is how the practical hero course exam will go. You will be fighting a group of villains in the city. These are the robots from the entrance exam. Your job is to protect the civilians while doing this. We hired some from the Help Us company. Once you have defeated most of the villains, about 80%, then you will unlock your final boss. You will be judged by the UA staff, just as you were in the entrance exam. You have 10 minutes to strategize, plan, and get ready. The two students used this time to strategize. Bakugo looked over the proctor and began putting a plan together. Objectively, I would say that in combat, especially against robots, I would say I'm the most powerful. From what I've seen, your quirk is very useful, but only against actual opponents. So this is what I suggest. When we encounter them, you restrain the robots so that I can take them down at first. We have to make sure to get the civilians out of harm's way. That is the priority. Once all civilians are safe, we will take down the robots. Until the final boss comes, we take him down and we win. Shinso took a bit to think through what Bakugo had to say. He found a slight issue with his plan and returned with a rebuttal. The plan sounds good, except we don't know what our final boss will be and we don't know how many civilians there are. Bakugo returned his answer rather quickly, as if he was already thinking what Shinso would have said next. For the boss, they will probably use the 0-point robot from the entrance exam. He should be easy enough to beat, and they will probably buy a counter or something for how many civilians there will be. Shinso gave in. It all seemed to add up, at least as far as he could think anyway. Sounds like a plan then. 15 minutes later, the students find themselves in ground beta. The students go out and execute their plans. They walk closer to the middle, taking down some robots on the way. They find the first civilian and destroy the enemies around him. The civilians thank them and Shinso escorts the civilians to the exit of the city. On the way, Shinso finds another villain that attacks them. He quickly reacts to the robot and takes it down. Shinso then decides that taking the main road is too dangerous and maybe he should use the alleyway. Use the alleyways to take the civilians to safety. Fewer chances of encountering villains. On his way to the exit, Shinso finds another civilian on the way and takes him to the gate. He gets to the gate and the civilians get through. Aizawa reminds the students of their current progress over the intercom. You have rescued 2 out of 15 civilians right now and have taken down 23% of the villains. Bakugo pressed against the earbud to communicate with his partner. Get back to the middle as soon as possible. I have 3 more and am keeping them safe, but need you to get them to safety. 27 minutes pass. At this point, Shinso and Bakugo are exhausted from all the hard work. Sweating a lot, Shinso escorts another civilian to the exit. All civilians have been taken care of, and you have defeated 67% of the villains. 6 minutes passed. Aizawa sent out another announcement to the duo. Good work, you two. You have now unlocked your final boss. Bakugo and Shinso look around wondering where the final villain is. A sliver of capture tape wrapped itself around Shinso's ankle. It tugged aggressively and made him fall out from under himself. The tape dragged him into an alleyway, disappearing in the darkness. Bakugo could barely do anything to react, and his explosions weren't working. Aizawa showed himself standing on top of the building next to the alley with his goggles over his eyes, his hair rising up creepily. Shinso laid unconscious in his arms. I'm your final boss. Bakugo tried activating his quirk again. Nothing. Aizawa dropped Shinso off the building, forcing Bakugo to chase after him. However, there were caltrops that were hidden in Shinso's pockets. They fell out as he continued falling, and Bakugo tripped over them but still managed to catch his unconscious companion. Damn you. Aizawa smiled cockily and began parkouring his way down, his vision unattaching itself from Bakugo, allowing him to explode again. A few explosions could be heard from Aizawa. By the time he got down, the two students were gone. They hid on top of a building, Bakugo trying to wake Shinso up by aggressively shaking him by his shoulders. His eyelids jolted open from the abrupt awakening. Wake up already, damn it. We got a teacher to destroy. Shinso recovers himself. Shortly after, Bakugo caught him up on the situation. The poor bastard didn't even remember what happened. They went through with a new plan. Some time passed. Aizawa let them be to give them a chance, of course without setting up traps of his own in the meantime. Aizawa passed by an alleyway when Bakugo ambushed Aizawa from it. Throwing an explosion at him, Aizawa leaned away from the attack effortlessly. He grabbed Bakugo by the wrist, keeping his quirk deactivated. He wrapped the capture tape around Bakugo's wrist whilst he was in the air still and threw him over his shoulder with the tape. Bakugo landed face first. Damn it, Aizawa showed his smug demeanor, meandering his way with his hands in his pockets to the recently injured Bakugo. My, you're quite the jumpy one. Shinso threw his binding cloth at Bakugo. Aizawa looked over as the cloth disconnected a tripwire. Before the cloth can reach Bakugo, a throwing star breaks it. He gazed at the direction from where the cloth was thrown from but sees no one there. Bakugo takes advantage of Aizawa being distracted and throws multiple explosions at him. While Shinso adjusts his mask, Aizawa loses sight of Bakugo because of all the smoke the explosions had created. Do you really think you can beat us? Aizawa, I have already beaten villains before. Aizawa smirked. You have never faced me before. Aizawa stopped moving. The smoke clears and Bakugo stands there. Shinso walks toward them. Bakugo was beginning to get frustrated from Aizawa's cocky attitude. Come on, let's restrain him. Bakugo went in for another barrage of explosions. Aizawa wasn't able to catch him in time to stop his quirk. The explosions impacted his body. Shinso yelled out to Aizawa, Sir, are you okay? Aizawa landed on his feet and began to beat down on Bakugo, attacking his focal points. This kept Bakugo from moving his joints in certain ways, eventually paralyzing him entirely. Mind your own business, Shin. Aizawa blacked out. Moments later, Shinso woke Aizawa up from the brainwashing and apologized for having to do that. Aizawa nods frustratingly. That was a dumb move for him to make. It's fine. In battle you do what you have to do. Never apologize for that. Now go hit the showers while we examine your results. 10 minutes later. The students are wearing normal clothes and go to talk to the teachers. Aizawa was the first to speak up. Katsuki Bakugo, you passed this exam. It was always planned for you to pass. You have proven yourself many times. That is the reason I offered you this chance. This exam was just meant to show your evolution to those who were still hesitant. Aizawa then faces Shinso. Itoshi Shinso, you passed the exam. You were the one who was really on trial here. You have matured a lot in the previous months and your fighting skills have improved a lot as well. This was a pretty difficult exam to do, and while many pros would have done better, I think only Midoriya and maybe a few other students would have been able to do better. Anyway, since there are 2 slots open, you 2 will be joining my class, Class 1A. I will see you in a week for the forest training camp. Just a heads up, you will be in the same training group as the people who failed the final exams, and afterward you will join the class for all future events, meaning normal class and other things we have planned. Bakugo thanks Aizawa for the opportunity he gave him. Shinso joins in and thanks Eraser too. Aizawa simply nodded, congratulating them on their hard work. No need to mention it. It was your hard work that has brought you to this point. Both students go celebrate their victory with a couple of sodas. They have also become very good friends after training together so much. After they are done with the sodas, the 2 students go home and say they will see each other in the training camp. Back in the forest, broken trees and craters beyond the eye can see were all that were present. In the middle of one of those craters was a defeated Gigantomachia. Shigaraki and his compatriots were once again sent back to Dr. Yujiko's location. I see you have managed to beat all for one's most devoted follower. Very well. I am at your demand, Master. What will be the first order of business? Shigaraki's chapped lips folded under the hand attachment grasping his face. His eyes widened as well. I have a couple of old friends to visit. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description. So feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video. So goodbye and have a divine day.